you! Don't watch that! Watch this! This is the heavy monster sound! The nuts!
Good day, folks. So we're just going to do a recap on functions. We looked at this for a bit, coming down to the end of term 2. But we're just going to have a bit of a recap and move on from this. Alright, so we have a function here, f of x is equals to 2x minus 5. Okay, now if you recall, this function is really describing a situation where there are things happening to x. So we have this x here and there are things happening to it. For one, it's being multiplied by 2 to make it 2x. And then it's being subtracted by 5. So two things are happening to x. You have the x there, it's being multiplied by 2, and it's being subtracted by 5. Okay? So, given that this is our function, we want to find what is f of 2, f of 3, and f of negative 1. Okay? So, let's do the first one. So f of 2 is saying that instead of using x, we can just use the number 2. So f of 2, wherever you see the x, you're going to put the number 2. So it's going to be, instead of 2 multiplied by x, it's going to be 2 multiplied by 2, and you're subtracting the 5. Okay? So let's work this out. 2 by 2 is 4. Minus 5, and 4 minus 5 is negative 1. So when x is equals to 2, we get an answer of negative 1. Alright, so you can see your x, what's inside here. The number that represents x would be your input, and your answer would be your output. And the process is what is happening to it. It's multiplying by 2, being subtracted by 5. Let's try number 2. Number 2, we have f of 3 is equals to, no, again we're going to, where there's an x, we're going to put the input we're looking at. This time it's a 3. So it's going to be 2, instead of 2 multiplied by x, it will be 2 multiplied by 3 minus 5. Let's work this out. 2 3s are 6, and 6 minus 5 will give me 1. So when x is 3, your answer is 1. Last but not least, let's look at when it is negative 1. So we have f of negative 1. Again, we replace the x with whatever we have inside the bracket. This time it's a negative 1, so it's going to be 2. Negative 1 minus 5. 2 by negative 1 will give me negative 2. And minus 5. And negative 2 minus 5 will give me negative 7. So as you can see, based on our input, here it was 2, here it was 3, here it was negative 1, we can get a different output. So we have that h of x is equal to 3x plus 4. Alright, so given that this is our function, we want to find when x is 5, h of 5, when x is 0, when x is negative 10. Okay, so let's start with number 1. So we have our function h of x is equal to 3x plus 4. We're looking at h of 5 now. So we simply just change the x to what we're looking at, which is 5. So it's going to be, instead of 3 times x, it's going to be 3 times 5 plus 4. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 plus 4 will give us 19. Number 2, we have h of 0. So whenever we see an x again, we replace it with the input. The input this time is 0. So it's going to be 3 times 0 plus 4. 3 times 0 is, well, 0, and plus 4 will give us 4. And then, last but not least, we have h negative 10. This is number 3. So h negative 10. Oops. This will give us 3 times negative 10 this time, plus 4. So you're going to get negative 30 plus 4. And that will give you negative 26. Alright? So, hopefully that is enough to jog your memory. You can always look back in your exercise book. I'm going to give you some to do now.